One.
Hi, I'm Pete Blackshaw with Nielsen Online, and I just wanted to share a few thoughts and observations from the Wine Technology Symposium here in the beautiful Napa Valley. And I really jumped at the opportunity to deliver a keynote speech here, partly because I obviously want to learn about the wine industry, and Nielsen's got a budding business here. But this is a category that I think is really important to pinpoint for understanding social media. I mean, even if you strip away social media, I mean, this is a category that's largely grounded on relationship marketing. A lot of ambassadors have always carried the weight in terms of driving word of mouth about wines that they love. Loyalty programs are fairly well developed. But what makes social media such a big deal, and social media is undisputably the big theme at this event, is it really expands what we call the engagement spectrum. So suddenly the wine club can be extended through the Facebook group, through the Twitter forum, through the blog that talks with passion about all the different nuances of wine, through the online community, whether it's something formal you do or whether you just do it through a Ning site. But the idea is that this is an industry where, and this is a big point that I underscored in my speech, that really has a right to win in social media, provided they execute well. And what we've heard a lot from not only my speech, but a whole bunch of different panel discussions, are different ways of getting it right in the social media space. One of the big themes, certainly something that I trumpet up a lot, and I showed some data, was it's really important to listen before you engage in the conversation. And there's a lot of nuances around wine discussion. I put up data talking about different influencers, Gary Vandershock versus Wine Spectator, and how the composition and nature of the conversation is different. It informs aperture, where consumers are most receptive to messages. Some cases you don't want to engage. There's also critical nuances between boards, blogs, forums, communities. Different types of conversation emerge. People talk about French wines in different contexts than talking about California Zinfandel, and it's really important to pinpoint that. A few other things that kind of bundled up. Technology was clearly a big theme. Technology is just changing the game across the board. It's not just about social media. There's a vendor here where you can stick your bottle under a kiosk and it'll suddenly print out an entire story about the wine, plus give you a customized card intended to create higher value perception for the retailer, but also a great benefit, a personalized benefit for the consumer. All sorts of scheduling wine apps. I want to visit a winery, or future down the line, a wine club, but the idea of how do you really help the wineries deepen those relationships, become more efficient. And again, a lot of them, they may not all have admitted it vocally, but a lot of them are looking to really increase the direct-to-consumer channel, which is about 5% of overall sales across the board. But there's that opportunity to drive even more margin by pushing that number up. And I think one of the things that a lot of them are struggling with is in the down economy, fewer sales in the restaurant channel. So how do you really fewer visits to the winery? So how do you really potentially beef up the category through the direct-to-consumer channel? I think we'll hear a lot more about that next year, but I think social media is a critical building block. A lot of compliance software technologies making it much easier to kind of deal with compliance-related issues, and trust me, the wine industry is impenetrably bureaucratic when it comes to state regulations, shipping across state lines, so that's something where technology is actually solving a lot of the big issues. A lot of stuff about tweets. There's a group called winetweets.com. We heard about it on a panel, 35,000 followers. Big deal. It looks like it. Will they be around next year? I have no idea, but they're looking to expand. It'll be interesting how some of these plays play out. Heard from two awesome guys from Facebook who talk with incredible passion. One of the guys has a family that owns a winery, so he was really quite authentic. Talked about the transition of Facebook groups to pages and what that means for wineries. It was actually pretty interesting. It's pretty easy to get ramped up in those platforms. On one of the panels this morning, a lot of confusion about shills. You know, where is it appropriate to prop up the conversation? How do you engender organic advocacy versus manipulating it? And there's definitely some watch outs. I'm a big fan of like keep it clean, keep it honest, keep it ethical. But overall, a really inspiring, interesting conference. I think this is an industry that's really going to pioneer and advance this space of social media. They have a right to win. They've always been grounded in the fundamentals, and that's the last point I'll leave with you. I think if you really want to get social media right, you have to be really disciplined around the core fundamentals. Don't even start doing social media unless you know how to answer your 800 call or know how to place your 800 number in a place that people can find it. Get those core fundamentals right, and you're going to really win in the conversational space. I think we're going to see it in the wine industry. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.